points for Exodus chapter 9, and I'm going to bring my sheet up. Again, this is Exodus chapter 9. My key points were focused on the plagues. The fifth, sixth, and seventh plague. The fifth plague, the plague of the death of the livestock. Remember, Goshen, that's the land where the children of Israelites were, the Hebrew people, were protected from that plague. Plague number 6, the plague of the boils. The boils were all over their bodies, the animals, and everything. They didn't even want to go before Moses at this time because the plagues were so bad. The boils were so bad. But Goshen, again, was protected from this. And then what we see is the plagues of sores in the book of Revelation. So let me read that to you. That's Revelation chapter 16, verse number 2. This is after the sixth bowl of Jehovah's wrath poured upon the earth. This is Revelation 16 and 2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noosome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. Again, this is on the wrath of Jehovah. And then the seventh plague, we have the plague of the hailstorm. And again, Goshen of the children of Israel was protected from this plague. And here's another plague that we find in the book of Revelation. So this is doing the seventh bowl of Jehovah's wrath poured up on the earth, again in Revelation 16 and 21. So in the cross reference, I will have both these verses in there for you. Revelation 16:21, and there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, that's like 100 pounds. And men blasphemed Elohim because the plague of the hail, the plague thereof was exceedingly great. Can you imagine 100-pound hail falling upon the earth? I can't imagine, and I don't want to see it. So the plagues were important to me because we see this pattern again in the book of Revelation. Now, Pharaoh's purpose also stood out before me in Exodus chapter 9. Pharaoh's presence serves a purpose as Jehovah has stated. Despite the potential of him being able to eradicate him and his people through the plagues previously, but Jehovah is taking his time because what? He most definitely wants to show his divine power and to ensure that his name resonates across the earth. And you will eventually see that people will hear about the children of Israel as we get further into the Torah. But that is not the only one who wanted to make sure that Jehovah's name is known. We understand that in the Parashah, the New Testament, Yeshua wanted to make sure that Jehovah's name was known also. So throughout the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Yeshua speaks a lot about Jehovah's name, who sent him, and he represents, and they are one. So there are times when people from denomination, non-denominational religious systems ask me about the name, how important the name is and things like that. So what I usually do is point them to John chapter 17, because I want them to know from the point of view of Yeshua, his son, makes a point of how important his name is. Again, Yeshua speaks about this throughout the gospel, but many people don't pay attention to that. They just pay attention to Yeshua. But Yeshua's prayer in chapter 17 of John, he states how important the Father's name is. But I'm only going to give you a snippet. Again, I recommend for you to read chapter 17 in its entirety. So John 17, 11, and 12 says, this is Yeshua praying about his disciples that he have with him and those in the future, meaning all of us. So it says, Holy Father, protect them by your name, the name you gave me, so that they may be one as we are one. While I was with them, I protected and preserved them by your name, the name you gave me. Not one of them has been lost except for the son of destruction, which is Judas Iscariot, so that the scripture would be fulfilled. So Yeshua also wanted to make sure that everyone knew Jehovah's name and who he was representing plenty times. But people don't pay attention to that. This is why I point them to John chapter 17 so they can study on those things. So I'm going to point you to my application and my insight. Again, it's that timeline of the hailstorm because it destroyed all the budded crops. Now, it destroyed the budded crops of the barley and the flax. We know that this happened around March and April because we know that the barley is part of the first fruits during the Passover and unleavened bread time. Again, that's March and April. And we know it's not in May or June because the wheat has not budded. Again, go back to Exodus chapter 9, and that will probably be a better understanding for you. So I have my word study, again, the cross-reference we talked about today, and no questions at this moment.